Pet peeves, what is that for a last question? Okay guys, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to chat about the background of TripleZero, what's coming for TripleZero, what all that means for you, and what 2020 is going to look like. I have actually recruited some help behind the camera today, so let's go. Well, I think a lot of people know that I actually started racing my bike nearly 10 years ago now. For me, I got to a point where I was racing at such a high level and my coach was so amazing that, you know, everything you do was that you're aiming for that recovery, you're aiming for that ability to actually recover, get more gains, get into the next level, get more power output and not have anything holding you back. So I was at the point where I was just like, well, I don't want to be on the start line or I don't want to be at the end of this race and losing an uphill sprint or, you know, a sprint finish by half a wheel or even an inch with the fact that I may have kind of had 5 or 6 beers over the last month and be like, oh, maybe that was the catalyst. And, you know, I never wanted that. I'd kind of wanted to make sure I'd given myself the best opportunity to prepare. So yeah, that was kind of the catalyst for getting into the non-alc space when I was trying to find some good drinks, trying to find and wade through what was out there. So essentially I wanted to start this because people are looking for some alternatives and sometimes people actually don't know what they want or what they're looking for. So I was just making this resource to try and be there for anyone who was thinking about getting into the space. So not necessarily the active thinker or the person who's jumping at it, but equally someone who sees it on the shelf at Woolies or sees an ad from Sands Drinks or Craft Zero or Brunswick Aces, any of the other platforms selling it, or maybe Athletic Brewing Co. I know I saw they were doing quite a lot of programmatic in the back end of this year. So, you know, they see the ad and they give it a Google and I'm like, well, why not give people the resource to be able to actually consolidate that initial kind of touch point and like try it. So yeah, that was kind of the thought process. I'm like, look, this stuff is good. Who is TripleZero really for? So I look at that and I'm like, you know what? It's for anyone. Anyone who wants to try something different. Anyone who wants to just explore maybe dropping the gin and tonic on a Thursday night. That's one person. Also the person who has decided they're going to give up alcohol and then also be like, I actually don't know where to start because I know that process is quite overwhelming from a few people I've spoken to. I interviewed Mary Bernard earlier in the year on the podcast, and then I've chatted to a few different other people who've said that giving up alcohol can be quite overwhelming because not only you have that lifestyle change and that kind of impact to your ability to hang out with people, but then you don't know what on earth to drink apart from I'll just have a Coke. So yeah, that's kind of the aim of the game, to really kind of foster that inclusion and then get people into a drink that they can have in their hand as quickly as possible without too much of the pressure around, oh, I've got to go out, I've got a social event. So kind of those two people, the people that are sober curious and the people that are looking to just drop alcohol altogether but don't really have an idea of where they're going or what they're looking for. So that's the type of person I would like to help by running all of this stuff and sitting in front of these lights. That is just crazy because there's just heaps. You can't kind of pick one. You know, you've got a sparkling range from Venati, you've got the Odd Bird that I found this year. You've also got the Barton and Guest. You've got a whole host of others in there as well. From a beer perspective, you've got the Bridge Road Free Time Pale Ale, which I've reviewed recently, and I just love that thing to bits. I only got into the Big Drop Paradiso this year actually during winter. There's just too many, like my brain's going crazy. There's too many to actually talk about. On the gin front, I think the big mover for 2021 has been that space around ready to drinks. So Monday Distillery are doing amazing things with no sugar and really building a great drink for people who are looking to have no sugar. But you know, you can't deny the fact that sugar does amazing things for food and drinks. And I look at that and I'm like, you know, from a ready to drink perspective, the Yes You Can and the Sea Arch ranges that have sugar in them are just having an amazing sort of feedback loop when you drink them because they give you the weight as well. So yeah, those two are great options from a ready to drink. And from a spirits perspective, given it is Christmas time, I do love myself a bit of Brunswick Aces Hearts Sapir that I gave for my mum. So I bought her a bottle the other day actually. She's winding down on alcohol a little bit. And then also the Gnista Spirits range as well that I spoke to Erica about on the podcast recently too. So there's just so much. 2021 has been a massive year here in Australia and globally as well. So I am not going to give you just one because I can't and it's not fair. Life's not fair, I know, but you know, that's where I'm gonna roll because I'm sitting here and you're sitting over there. Okay, so TripleZero 2022. I've been pretty quiet through October, November, and I mean, I'm recording this halfway through December, which means that essentially I have just been working my backside off. I've not been sleeping, but I've been working my backside off amongst my day job. So essentially, next year is going to be all about rolling everything out and just catching up with the people that I've met online, Zoom called, Teams called, and just having time to go in and say hello and actually touch base. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to fly interstate this week, actually. Today's Monday and I'm leaving on Wednesday. So I'm going to go out and just meet some people and say hello, and I want to do more of that next year and really start building the community around it. I think the thing would be, don't be disheartened if you don't like something. Just try it, go and get something else. Try something different. The market is still in that transitionary phase where you've got the OGs who, some of them are good and some of them are just a bit below par, but then you've got the new guys coming in who are really like shaking things up, throwing everything out and starting again. Like I look at the way that Athletic are brewing things and the way that Heaps Normal are brewing things. Like look at the flashback option that is in the Yes You Can range. Like that is remarkable. All the way that Erica and the team and Frederick over at Gnista are putting things together from a food tech perspective. Like you've got to really look at what's going into the creation of these things and then be like, okay, that one didn't work for me, but I'm going to try something different. I'm going to keep going. And that's also, like I mentioned at the top, what I am trying to do. I'm trying to kind of limit that bad interaction with things so people have a positive interaction and they're like, oh, I like this. I want something similar to this. And then, they read down the review and they see that there's 5 or 6 other options down there which are similar to what they're reading about, or there's just other options in there. If they don't like it, there's some other options which they may like that are totally different. So yeah, that's the thing. Make sure that you keep trying. And I will try and help you navigate that as best as possible. So keep trying. There are some amazing options out there, no matter what your taste buds are. And actually, if you have any thought about what you're looking for, just drop it in the comments below. And I'm happy to help out. I'm happy to kind of respond to you and get a bit of info around what you like and what you're looking for. And I will direct you in hopefully the right direction. What are my pet peeves? Like in alcohol, non-alcoholic stuff, generally. Can't. When I get told I can't do something or you can't do something. I don't like being told I can't do anything, and I'm really not a fan of when people are like, oh, it can't be done. I'm like, no, let's figure it out. Let's go and do it. It's awesome. Come on, let's go and build something. Let's break something. Let's do it. Let's find it. And I actually mentioned this to my mum the other day and she's like, Jonathan, don't you remember when you were a kid, I would tell you that can't doesn't live in this household. If you want something, you have to figure it out. And that was kind of, what looks like it's carried through to me all those kind of years later. So that has been my biggest one. Okay, well, that is the end of that short kind of Q&A. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and it kind of gave you a little bit of insight how I came into the space, what else is coming through for next year. Check out some of the other links in the description down below or some of the other videos I've got over here as well. And check out some amazing non-alc options, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Pet peeves, what is that for a last question?